Good evening, Californios. It's Saturday night, August 7th, 2021, and this is Red Star Report. For tonight, we have a format change. We'd like to finish the first edition of our new California Origins segment of interviews based on listening and dialogue with California's diverse indigenous peoples and communities. With the second of this two-part segment hosted by Shankar Singam as he speaks with the sometimes overlooked representatives of the Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians about some of the challenges facing their community. So, Red Star Report presents California Origins, the Kizh Nation, in their own words, Part 2.
Okay, so James, and you're joined with your mother.
This is my mother. You want to introduce yourself?
Lucille Henninger Gary.
Lucille, thank you for joining the panel.
She's the quiet one. But when I was growing up, she was not quiet.
I believe it. I believe it with you. I absolutely believe that, James. James, you were just telling us about your history, and the Dormies.
Robert and Angie Dormy.
Yeah, how they came into the scene in the 90s with.
Yeah.
And so what happened there? Can you?
So Robert Dormy was coming to my grandmother's house. That's where the house my mom was born and raised in, and he was borrowing pictures and documents from our family. Not knowing who they were, she was letting him borrow pictures, and so we actually have an envelope with his signature, his phone number on it, and the pictures that he borrowed, and he did return them. But he was borrowing for a reason. They were using our history to claim to be Garbeleno, which we know they're not.
Because you're not.
Yes. And what happened is, my mom remembers her mother telling her stories about a guy coming to the house asking for pictures. He said he was related to us. He was asking for documents. So he put on a good show, to make it look like he was related to us. And that's when he started getting information on our family, which led to this.
Yeah, this novel, Henninger Flats.
Yes, this is a book called Henninger Flats, and it was written by Paul Rippens, who was, at the time, back in the early 90s, he was the chief of the Los Angeles County Forestry Department.
Oh, wow.
So when they met with him, they didn't mention our family. They mentioned theirs.
Oh.
Using our information.
Oh, wow.
So they were up there claiming to be the descendants of William Henninger. At the same time, getting all their information from our family. Using it as us.
Oh, wow.
So this guy Rippens, he's not free of blame either. When he wrote this book, he saw the baptism certificate of our great-great-great-grandmother, the wife of William Henninger, right? Who we know was not Gabrielino. On the baptism certificate, which I have it here, she was born in Baja, California. There's no way you could be Gabrielino if you're born in Baja. So out there in that area, they call them the Kumeyaay. So they're on both sides of the border. Alta California, Lower California, Baja. That's where she was from. So on the judgment rolls, her daughter Luisa, she stated that her mother was a San Diego Mission Indian, Tigüeño, which is correct, and that's what she put on the applications. When the Dormies met with Paul Rippens, they told him that she was Gabrielino, and that's what he put in this book, with no facts whatsoever. So,
and remember the names Tigüeño and Gabrielino and Bernardino.
These are
Spanish names
from
that
the
they
missions.
gave the Indian because of the missions.
Yeah. So San Gabriel Mission Indian, they would call you Garbaleno in Spanish.
Right.
San Diego Mission Indian, Digueño.
Right.
San Fernando Mission Indian, Fernandino. So that's all the Spanish names. So those were our slave names from the missions.
Sure.
Because we were baptized at the missions.
And we still
as
utilize them
Catholics.
today because they're historical.
Yeah,
records.
you have to. You're
So that's why we're actually Catholic through the missions.
So why did the Dormies even? Why did they attempt to do this? I don't understand. What were they getting out of it?
Okay. Mostly for compensation. Robert monitors. He makes money with human
sure.
remains. He's been doing this since what?
But
Early 1990s?
how would confusing your history benefit him in that?
Because what he does is with that history, he utilizes that history and he puts himself on a Native American contact list with the state of California.
As a Garbaleno.
So when there's development, developers have to go through a process and they contact the Native American Heritage Commission. They say, hey, I got a project over here. Do you know of any tribes or any information that we might be near burials or what have you? And they give you a list. And they say, here, use that list, call those individuals on that list. Everybody wants the LA Basin because there's so much work here.
Yeah.
There's development.
Right.
You can't, up in San Diego there is development, but it's just a certain area until you come into the border of TJ or Tijuana, what have you. We're large here. Remember, our ancestral village, the Gabrieleno, it's from Dana Point, and we cover the Channel Islands, San Clemente, San Nicolas, Catalina, and we share the small island of Santa Barbara with the Chumash people, northern tribe. We go up to the area of Topanga, Malibu Creek.
Yeah.
Then we go back into the Santa Monica Mountains, up by Magic Mountain in that area, or Santa Susana Mountains, back that area to the high desert where already you're Wrightwood, Wrightwood, that area.
We're gonna put a map up on there.
We go up into that area, and then we go down east, the lower lands, into Yucaipa. In the lower lands, all the upper lands belong to the Serrano, Cahuilla, and those individuals.
So Dormy
or tribes
just got that information from your great grandmother.
Yes.
Just to have this guy write this book to give him cred in.
Well, they just. With this book, it gave him legitimacy claiming to be Garbaleno.
Yeah, right.
And remember,
claiming Garbaleno?
Garbaleno.
Yeah, because they said it was his.
Remember,
his sister, that's right.
He monitors as a Garbaleno, so they live in this area.
That's right.
So if they claim to be Digueno, there's no monitoring.
Yeah.
There's no link to this history here.
So you can't.
So if they were to claim to be Digueno, there's nothing for him here.
Right. He can't be a monitor.
Yeah.
Right.
So
all that work, all that construction, it just goes out there.
He's made. How much do you think he's made over the
years?
Millions.
Wow. Tell him when you called him one day to confront him. What did you say?
I did call him on the phone once. Right. I got his phone number.
I'm going to be calling him as well.
And this is how I got his phone number. When he borrowed pictures from my grandmother, he wrote his name, signed it, the dates on here.
I have to blur that out, bro.
And he also put down the pictures that he borrowed.
Yeah.
Right? And his phone number's on here. So I called him, not knowing who I was. He did know once I told him. He started trying to tell me my own history. Your grandmother lives on the corner of Angelino and Lafayette. Oh, really? Breaking news, right? Then I'd say within less than half a minute, the first thing he told me, this is a direct quote, there's a lot of money out there to be made.
Oh, wow.
See? And
that's his goal.
And that brings all that back to the Springs, where they were trying to establish a tribal council, a tribe.
Right.
They're at the Springs.
Not
Indians.
Yeah.
All these tribes. They were trying to establish it because to get on that list, you must be a representative of a tribal entity.
Wow. So that's the Dormies. Let's talk about El Vitre real quick here. So
can I add one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Now here's the book written by Paul Rippins.
Sure.
Right. And I don't like to promote this book It's in every public library.
You should tell the publisher what's up with that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this is page 9, The Life of William Henninger, right? It's just a few pages. This guy, Paul Rippens, who worked at Henninger Flats, right? I told you he was the chief of the forestry.
Yeah.
There was another guy before him named Grant Brown.
Right.
Grant Brown wrote an article prior to Paul Rippens, right? 1983. The book, 1999. So this is 16 years before the book. This report by Grant Brown,
True,
is word for word what Paul Rippens. All he did was copy this article into his book. He didn't even write it. And what he did on Grant Brown's article, he put the true statement. Teresa was from Baja California. He got it from the baptism certificate.
Grant did.
Yeah.
He
Grant Brown. Paul Rippens, when he copied the article word for word, took out the Baja and put Gabrielino Tongva Indian.
So
with no proof, he took their word for it, I guess.
So that's a.
And he claims to be a historian.
When you copy
Plagiarized.
Plagiarized, and then he committed a bit of fraud. And
it is fraud.
So, have you reported it to the publishing company or anybody like it?
And he also misspelled the name.
Yeah, that's another thing. On
purpose.
the cover of the book, it's spelled with one N.
Oh, yeah.
He did it on purpose.
Okay.
Oh, man.
He justifies it by saying through family documents, Angie and Robert.
Now that cuts him off from
we have never
damn it.
We have never found any documents where it's spelled with one N. Only on a census, where they spelled things wrong.
Yeah.
They were very smart, but yet dumb, because we're the living descendants.
Yeah,
that can tell you the story.
Where they messed up, they used a family that has documents of everything, which is pretty stupid. But I think they never imagined that we would ever come out.
No,
and do interviews like this and talk about the truth.
So that's scandalous. But I think one of that group, the Springs group, the one in the Springs group, Alvitre.
Yeah,
I think she's even more scandalous, isn't she? Because not only she didn't trying to fake her way in, but she's also faculty at Cal State Long Beach.
That's correct,
right?
Professor.
So real quick, this is actually her history.
And all these lies have promoted her to get where she's at today.
She's head of
on the faculty.
She's head of the Native Studies program, correct?
This is the history of Cindy
Alvitre.
Cindy Alvitre, teaches English at the English department at Cal State Long Beach, claiming to be native when she's actually from down south. And this is the proof of her not being Gabrielino, correct?
Right.
And I don't know what she has proving that she is, or that she's Tongva. Let's talk about Tongva.
Yeah, what's a Tongva?
How did Tongva come around? Because you have to understand that everybody in Los Angeles, in Southern California, knows that this is Tongva land. This is Tongva land. Every kid, every college student knows this. So where did Tongva? Where did Tongva come from? How did she pull it? How did she get it?
The way she pulled it off, Cindy Alvitre herself, is to get into the minds of these children and politicians or what have you, and tell them, please don't use that term Gabrielino no more. That's our slave name. We don't like that. She used the word we, like as if she had a mouse in her pocket. But she used the term we when she wasn't a descendant of the original people. But she used that tactic to remove the Gabrielino name, which is our slave name. But if you listen to all the tribes here, we all use our historic name. That's where you could go back into our history. So she would tell people, please don't use that name. That's our slave name. We want you to call us Tongva. So to promote the name Tongva, you erase again.
Where did she come up with Tongva? Where did she get Tongva?
These individuals had an agenda. The term Tongva was documented in 1903 by Merriam C. Hart, who is the very man that established the Webster Dictionary.
Yeah, Merriam-Webster, the partner of Noah Webster.
Right. And he was hired by the family Berkeley to study the Indians of Southern California. And he was paid. He was a biologist. He didn't want to do native history, but because they were paying him, he carried on the mission for the family to study the local tribes of Southern California. And his tribe was us, the Gabrielino. He interviewed a woman in 1903 up in Fort Tejon at the reservation.
Sure.
When wanting to know the history of the tribe. He came to the San Gabriel area. Like I mentioned earlier, our families are very private. 1903. Remember, we were
Sure.
citizens in 1924. Nobody wanted to talk to a white man
not doing that.
because of our
Writing
what we
everything
went
down.
through.
Right.
And what we didn't want to say we were natives. People always say, "Oh, they don't want to say natives." Everybody's got that
Sure.
concept, but they have to truly understand why
Sure.
we didn't want to say because of our past.
We had.
So
you got to
so
remember,
this woman-
genocide.
when
So-
we're not
atrocity.
citizens, we had no rights.
We had no
Sure,
right.
sure. Yeah.
Right? According to the
Hangings.
government, the
So what
first
did this
people.
woman say? Like,
So in 1903, the woman, she was asked, where she was from, where was she born. She said, I was born in San Gabriel. My mother's from San Gabriel. And my father is from the Serrano, which are San Manuel people. Okay? She said San Gabriel. She didn't say anything else. But she said, of the village that was formerly known as Tovascangna. But because C. Hart Merriam, in his documents will tell you, because he could not pronounce the word Tovascangna, he abbreviated Tongva. So, fast forward, he died in 1945, I believe, from the 45. All these notes were never published until 1965. Students at Berkeley found his notes and published them without verifying if they were fact. And in his notes, he mentions, and even Hugo Reed's notes mention that his notes were inadequate, not good, because he wrote the villages the way they pronounce them. You get an Anglo man,
Sure.
you tell him about, say a Spanish name or a Mexican
Sure, he's
name or
gonna-
Indian, they're not going to pronounce it right. It's hard. So they published those notes. So Cindy and all these people had a mission, and their mission is what exactly they're doing today: archaeology, being faculties, working
Right.
at the schools and what have you. They talk about it, and to get them there, they needed to be somebody.
Yeah.
And what they wanted to be was this tribe that they weren't affiliated with, or associated, or even descendants of.
So Miriam wrote Tongva down,
So he wrote Tongva,
and she read the
and she
Vitra
read it,
this.
and she came, the document that I showed you, the letter
Yeah.
that I showed you, she came during the time we were saving the springs over in Santa Monica, and she tried to tell
Right.
us that we should use that name since we
Oh,
got
you
our
bet-
state.
oh, really?
Since we got our state recognition, since we got our first 501c3, utilize this name because this is what's going to help you move forward for your next step of recognition. Because we were very close, federal recognition. So she said, you need to use this name. Everybody stepped back and said, no, we don't want to use that name. But because the elders were not academia smart, she pushed that name through her academia.
Wow.
Okay? And she established the name of the springs there. Well, when the tribe, the people who saved it, the Indians, wanted to name it the name of the community there, which was Curravanga, the area, what
Right.
was called there. But she and these individuals
Dormant.
established or tried to put together a tribal council, making it look Indianish, and said, we're going to use this term Tongva, and they infiltrated that name. Like I said, our elders, there was, you could go back, none of them were academia
Is
smart.
she native at all? Is she indigenous?
No,
So
nothing.
she has zero. indigenous.
Zero.
And same with the Dormy.
Zero. Yeah, and she has a niece today, her niece is out there
Oh,
saying that
I
her
read her
grandfather,
article, yeah.
Sebastian,
The blood of
was,
the land.
of an Indian. No, that's all
Very
fake.
beautifully written.
And
That's
remember,
a
they're-
good piece of fiction.
They're also not related to us whatsoever.
oh
They're,
wow.
they're
no
con
bloodline.
artists.
So what have they done? Like, so how they impeded you guys, stopped you? What have they done to Kizh to
Well,
sweep you guys aside?
Their main tactic to keep our voice, our history from getting out, is to meet with the important people they need to meet with, faculty, politicians, what have you, and they go up to them. And even there's people that I try to meet and they don't want to talk to me because their tactic, Doramy and all them. I mean, I got minute meetings of them meeting with politicians where I ask personal info. I mean, not personal info. What do you call it? It's not part of the Privacy Act. You could ask for minute meetings on certain meetings. So they provided. And it said, out of all and every email or letters they've sent or conversation, is that Andy, Ernie, our tribe are troublemakers. So before that individual could even reach out to me and hear my voice,
he didn't want to hear
my voice. That my voice is part of my ancestors that are gone now. What I share and what facts I have is based on what they provided to me. We owe it to them, my ancestors. So I go out and try to meet these politicians and important people to tell them our history. And before they can even talk to me, they shut me down because this individual or these individuals had said that this guy's a troublemaker.
That's what I heard about the Kizh as well. When I first heard Tongva,
you're an example of that.
And I'm an outsider. I'm not native at all. So all we were told was they're troublemakers. I couldn't ask why. I went like, why? And they're like, oh, it's
and Shankar, another thing we need to explain is
because the truth causes trouble.
Yeah, when they call us troublemakers, bullies, thugs, they're scared of this.
Oh, I know.
Evidence.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we have that.
Right.
So that's what they're scared of.
Yeah,
Proof.
they're scared of this.
Exactly.
We fight with
What
proof.
she's scared of.
Yeah,
we fight with
That's
proof.
that's what the Dormies are scared of.
So we're here to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that's it.
Yeah.
We don't fight with our fists. We fight with our minds.
Right.
And
That's what they're scared of. They can't defeat us mentally. They never will.
So I feel bad.
We also have a living history. We're not in the past. We're here.
Yeah.
And this is it.
Yeah.
Right here.
These are the
I feel bad for the future generations, the kids that are believing this, and that's who I really want to target are them, just so they know they're not going up there with a sign looking like the worst, their worst nightmare of themselves, fighting for the wrong thing, because that's what they're out there doing.
Yeah.
They're always fighting for the right thing they think they are, and their worst nightmare would be to be fighting for the wrong thing, which is the opposite, and that's what they're doing. So.
And then they claim it's Tongva land and Tongva this, and Tongva means the people of the earth. How are you going to have a meaning for a name that was abbreviated based on a village that was jotted down or written down wrong? How are you going to have a meaning for that word?
So
That's her
it's funny.
meaning.
So I'm going to throw some names out. Hilda Solis is one of them. She's a LA County Commissioner.
Right.
Congressman. She's an Asian lady. I forgot her name.
Chu.
Yes. Yeah. So these
It gets there's more than that.
Yeah.
Antonovich. Yeah.
Oh no, really? Dang.
Yes.
So yeah, they're tying themselves to. I've got news for you guys. Though. I mean, you shouldn't be worried too
Fake
much
Indians.
about them. Yeah,
Fake Indians.
They're fake. They're fake politicians too, man. They're not. They're not about the people they represent at all. None of those people are. It's quite a joke.
But it's sad in this country that people don't want to hear the truth.
No,
Those
And
politicians.
when you're honest, you're an outcast.
Those politicians should give us the opportunity to sit with them to hear our story. Not send a field deputy, not send it. If they're truly, and they represent, they're supposed to be the representatives
Of us.
of our land, of our people. They should be listening to the true people. We still live here.
Hey, Shankar, I wanted to mention real quick. So, one of the things that we did with my family to get our history corrected, right? So we met with the Los Angeles County Forestry Department. This is Frank Vidalis, the chief at the time, right? He's retired now. We showed him all our documents. We had to actually bring our documents, show him the proof, who we are. We told them about the Doramies. They were shocked.
Yeah, I bet.
They were like, oh my God, we didn't know. I said, so we showed them all the evidence, and that led to us putting a plaque up at Henninger Flats.
Good.
And this is the plaque.
You know who his grandpa is, or her grandpa?
Yeah, he told me the
Henninger, but their Spanish side are the De La Osas from the Rancho Los Encinos. It's over there in Encino, California. It's an adobe, an old house there that sits on a village site, near a village site.
It's a historic park in Encino.
Yeah. It's called
Luisa
Singam.
Henninger, our great-great-grandmother, had children with David De La Osa. They were never married, and we descend from those.
Oh, wow.
Them.
But they
My
kept
mom
the
is a
Henninger
descendant.
name.
Yeah, right.
And that was a tactic for survival
Sure.
In those 1800s,
absolutely.
when that man, William, a German descendant, his name is what kept them alive. Prominent man.
And my mom, she does. What was the story your mom told you about Robert coming to the house? Robert Dormy, borrowing these pictures.
About.
He would come to the house. What he was telling her, he was related to us.
Oh yeah.
And this is what, back in the late
back
80s.
In the early 90s.
Yeah, 90s. Had to be 90s. With
Early
And her mom would tell her the stories about a guy coming to the house. And now we know.
That's scary, man. That's scary.
Yeah. See, my grandmother didn't know, so she would lend him stuff based on him giving her falsehoods about himself.
Man,
that's Robert Dormy.
Oh, that's the guy.
That's him. That's Robert
Look at him with the feather.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
this
this
is
is
cute.
I like his shades too. It's kind of scary.
this is his
Kinda scared
He
family.
of
have a teardrop coming out of his eye. It's like that one commercial.
These are their applications that they were submitting to our tribe. Robert
Is
Dormy.
this Dormy's file?
I got his file.
Oh man, look at he's got the file.
So these are the applications. Look at that, and it says right here, Teresa was their grandmother, and
Yeah.
and she was Gabrielino. And why do you want to be a member of the Tribal Council of the Springs Foundation? Because we want scholarships, we want money. Look, it's all written
Do you
down.
have a picture of Cindy Alvitra here? Let me see. I gotta get that picture, man.
Show them.
I'll give you. I got pictures.
On their applications. Look who they put as their native ancestor. Would show them
Who they put?
Teresa,
right here, Teresa,
the wife of William Henninger.
My God, man!
Every one of their family members.
and that's why our tribe.
But look what they put. Gabrielino also.
And that's why our tribe back then. There's letters they told them that Teresa is not Gabrielino,
Yeah.
and you're not Gabrielino. They told our tribe, the foundation of the Alley Basin, the foundation, lineal descendants that are gone now, that are dead. We're the next generation. But our elders told them, you're not Indian. And yet, through academia, through the politicians, they were able to push their lies. And that's
See, so Shankar, the best case scenario.
I need that picture. Is there a picture in here of
this guy desecrated, helped desecrate
The
400 burials in Playa Vista.
best case scenario for us, we want them to take us to court. We want to go to court.
I know.
We have evidence that they are not related to us.
Yeah.
We have evidence and documents that Teresa was not a Gabrielino Indian. We also have evidence that they changed our history.
No, sure, yeah.
So we want to go to court.
Yeah.
We would love it if they tried to take us to court.
Hey, I'm hoping they take us to court.
Yeah.
Go for it. We want you. We want you.
Is there anything else you guys want to add to the story? Because it's quite compelling.
Oh man, we could go on. I got documents after document. My dad saved everything, everything, and I got it filed. I got it in different areas, We got it in a safe place.
Good.
Because when I'm gone, the next generation behind me, my children, my grandchildren, they're going to take this on until it's cleared up.
Good.
It needs to be cleared up. So everybody that's claiming Tongva and promoting Tongva, you got to understand.
The last one you showed me about the Tongva and Corona, that was hilarious.
You see that?
I want to be Tongva now.
Yeah,
I
anybody.
want to be Tongva out of Bombay.
No,
Yeah,
and you can even
money.
what the Tongva are doing. They're doing what do you call it?
You should be Tongva too. Man.
What they're doing?
German.
When you meet people.
German temple.
Well, I got
I heard they have a,
not baptized.
Jewish Tongva,
what are they doing?
tribe too. That's
These
or
Tongva
Jews.
people, when they say, "Oh, you're native," and they, what's
that's
the
it,
term that
so.
they're using? These Tongva people are speaking with other individuals that, I'm from LA, and I think I got native roots, and that you're Tongva too, just like that, just like that.
Ooh.
That's what they're doing. They're I forget
Like
the term.
appropriation.
No, that's a term that
No,
they
they're
use.
making it up, man.
Yeah, but there's
no.
a term that they use that I heard an individual go,
I
"You're."
think it's cultural appropriation. I
Yeah,
don't think
no, it's a term.
Yeah,
that
because
they-
they're
No,
not
it's not,
really
it's
because
not,
they're
it's
not
not.
even native.
I know what you're saying. It's a
Yeah.
dude. That's
I'll think of the term that they're using.
So
Guys-
we're glad you're giving us the opportunity to sit here and tell you our story, because not a lot of news venues will do this.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
We're not afraid. Another
let's
thing.
hold on. Let's wrap this up real quick.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up. We're not going to say that.
Okay.
Some final thoughts on this one.
All right, so so that was quite compelling, guys. That's quite a rich and that should be a movie. Actually, I mean, I can't believe the amount of drama that went on and how the indigenous just got used by the government, and to
we always
and
have.
to let any predator person in the land just claim and take what it's
Not just our people, but other. I mean,
I can imagine it happen all throughout the United States.
But see, here in the LA Basin, California, we get colonized by the Spanish, by the Mexican government. And don't get me wrong, I got Mexican blood.
No, I get it.
But I'm right today. We're protecting our native rights.
Sure.
So we got colonized by the Spanish, the Mexican, the American, and then today with these Tongvas. They're the modern day colonizers.
Yeah.
Honestly, who have now, remember, to take us, what they tried to colonize us, to take our history, our culture, is when you take your culture from somebody, you've taken them. You know, you don't need to take their luggage, their money, anything to destroy them.
Yeah.
You take their culture and you've taken
Everything.
everything.
actually-
and
I just
today,
wanna add,
Shankar, actually,
Today-
taking somebody's culture is one of the definitions of genocide.
right?
And
And
Without
today,
killing them.
today, we, the native community, descendants, continue to experience genocide of our history, our culture, atrocities that are still. Everybody's the apology, and I apologize. They're not backing that true apology. By backing that true apology, they should be hearing the history that we are able to provide.
Absolutely. And Andy, thank you so much.
I
for the
thank
interview.
you.
James, thank you again.
You're welcome.
for the interview, ma'am.
And my mom, the quiet one.
Thank you. Thank you for
You're welcome.
providing all this information. We're gonna
Anytime.
Get it out there as much as we can and try and.
That's good. That's what we
expose.
need.
That's what we like. We like this controversy. So that's
Promoting the truth. Thank
That's
you.
right.
Yeah, and it's really not controversial to us. This
Right.
is just the truth.
Right. So thank you very much. Red Star Report signing out. This is a special interview with the Kizh Nation. Signing off. Thank you very much.
For those wanting to see part one of this segment of California Origins, it's available on our Red Star Report YouTube channel in podcast 12, 7/31/21. For those wishing to see the complete segment, we will be going back and fixing and editing the segments together and releasing that too real soon. Because I must say, as California independence activists building a media group, doing this first segment has been a learning experience for us here at Red Star Report. And we thank Tribal Chairman Andy Salas, as well as James and his mother Lucille Henninger-Quere for their time and patience and the opportunity they gave us to hear what they had to say. We're looking forward to speaking with them again soon. And hopefully we will get the chance to speak to and present more California Origin segments featuring more Indigenous voices in the near future. So spread the word. These segments will be presented by Red Star staff, contributors, and Indigenous tribal representatives are welcome to contact us to host a segment. Red Star Report promises to present these segments with editing and formatting changes used, mostly for a time constraint of 30 minutes each. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. And that's it for this week. Check out our website, redstarreport.com. Also be sure to subscribe to our Red Star Report YouTube channel. Go find and like our Red Star Report Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, etc., because if you want a real California Independence Movement media group, it's all about the algorithms. Our thanks to you and all our Red Star Rebels for watching. Have a great weekend. We are Red Star Report.